Welcome to the realm where legends come to life. Here, we journey through the timeless tales of myth, folklore, and ancient history, exploring the mysteries that have fascinated humanity for centuries, from the heroic sagas of legendary warriors to the eerie whispers of forgotten spirits. Every story is a portal to a world beyond the ordinary. Subscribe and join me on this adventure as we uncover the truth behind the myths, unravel the secrets of ancient civilizations, and delve deep into the stories that shaped our world. Whether you're a lover of history, a fan of fantasy, or simply someone who enjoys a good tale, there's something here for you. Let the stories begin. Merlin, the enigmatic story of the powerful wizard. Merlin is an iconic and enchanting figure who is often mentioned in the legend of King Arthur as his loyal companion and mentor. His presence in Celtic tradition has inspired a variety of narratives that ascribe him different powers and attributes. Some suggest that Merlin might even be an amalgamation of several figures from the time. The Arthurian cycle includes all the stories that detail the life of Arthur, the ancient king of Britain. These tales blend real and fictional elements, creating uncertainty about the existence of historical characters within them. This ambiguity casts doubt on the reality of Merlin, who, according to legend, lived in Wales during the 6th century. Regardless of his historical authenticity, Merlin remains the most emblematic wizard in European literature, inspiring numerous magical tales. According to Merlin's legend, his origins trace back to the union of a woman, the daughter of a powerful king, and an incubus, a demonic entity of sexual nature. This unusual ancestry is said to grant Merlin all his supernatural powers. Although traditional narratives depict Merlin as a loyal ally of Arthur, a defender of good, and a practitioner of benevolent magic, some scholars point out the ambiguity of his character. They argue that Merlin embodies a duality between good and evil, reflected in stories where his actions are not always benevolent. Merlin's story is intertwined with the figure of Merlin Wilt, a prophet and wild man from medieval Welsh tradition. It is said that after the death of his king, Merlin went mad and lived in the forest for years, eventually emerging transformed and with a profound understanding of the essence of the world and its constant renewal. The story of this individual was documented by Geoffrey of Monmouth, a British cleric who wrote The History of the Kings of Britain, a work credited with creating the figure and myth of Merlin. In this way, Geoffrey became one of the primary promoters of the Arthurian legend by introducing the figure of Merlin as the wizard Merlin. However, Geoffrey's inspiration for Merlin's legend wasn't solely derived from Merlin. He also drew from Ambrosius Aurelianus, a Roman leader during the Romano-British Wars. It is speculated that Merlin was conceived from this fictional amalgamation, though Geoffrey's true intention remains unclear, especially since he kept Ambrosius as a separate character in his work. Despite Geoffrey popularizing Merlin's image, he never mentioned Merlin's role in Arthur's education in his accounts, nor did they even meet. The idea of Merlin mentoring the king originated from variations of Welsh tales. In any case, no one truly knows who Merlin was, as there are no real historical documents about him. The legend of Merlin highlights numerous supernatural powers, including the ability to shapeshift into various creatures or objects, become invisible, and communicate with all sorts of beings, including spirits. Additionally, he possessed vast knowledge beyond human limits and had control over the elements, enabling him to transcend time itself. Merlin's legend also emphasizes his close connection with nature, especially with the forest, where the apple tree emerges as his emblematic tree, symbolizing knowledge, initiation, and immortality. In all the stories that mention him, Merlin is credited with dominion over the plant and animal kingdoms, and even the ability to tame dragons, sometimes transforming into one himself. Moreover, he is said to possess the gift of foresight, infusing his prophecies with a mystical aura. Merlin's story dates back long before his association with the future King Arthur. In fact, Merlin was not linked to the Arthurian legends until much later, as the two characters emerged independently and without connection in the 11th century. However, delving into the narrative, the relationship between Merlin and Arthur traces back even before the future monarch's birth. Merlin played a crucial role in Arthur's conception. Arthur's mother, Lady Igraine, was engaged to Duke Gorlois. However, King Uther Pendragon, Arthur's father, was deeply in love with her and sought Merlin's help to be with her. Knowing Arthur's exceptional destiny, Merlin agreed to assist the king on the condition that he be given the child born from this union. Uther accepted Merlin's terms, who then gave Uther the appearance of Gorlois, allowing him to consummate his union with Igraine. Uther honored his promise by handing over Arthur, who was raised by Sir Ector, and his son Kay. After Gorlois died in battle, Uther was finally able to marry Igraine. However, following Uther's death and the ensuing succession disputes, Merlin forged one of the most famous swords in history and embedded it in a stone so that only Arthur could draw it. Thus, a new king ascended to the throne. During his reign, Arthur always had Merlin's company and guidance, as Merlin was his constant mentor and advisor. Under Merlin's tutelage, Arthur founded the renowned Order of the Knights of the Round Table, all of whom benefited from Merlin's wisdom and counsel. According to most accounts, Merlin's legend lacks a definitive end, as it is claimed that the wizard never died. Upon reaching old age, Merlin fell deeply in love with a beautiful young woman named Nimue. Over time, Merlin appointed her as the Lady of the Lake by constructing a palace at the bottom of a lake to sustain their relationship. However, as time passed, Nimue began to distrust and fear Merlin upon learning the truth about his origins, revealing that he was the son of a demon. Nimue deceived Merlin by asking him about a powerful spell capable of imprisoning a sorcerer. Once she obtained the information, she used it against him. Merlin was trapped in a crystal prison from which he could not escape. Thus, according to the legend of Merlin, the wizard did not die, but remains imprisoned in his crystal cell. Some alternative versions suggest he might be confined within a tree or a rock deep in a forest.